Welcome to From the Coffee Shop podcast. I'm Rick Entrop.
I'm Scott Clark.
And I'm Peggy Hurson.
And we are here in beautiful downtown Kenmore at Espresso Works.
Downtown?
They have a taco time.
Yeah.
The best of the taco series, if you ask me.
Yeah.
The Taco Bell, Taco Del Mar.
And a safe way, the safest of the ways.
Yes.
If you
a Rite Aid.
I used to call it Sway Sway when
the
I was
rightest
a kid.
of the
Sway
aids.
Sway.
No. Okay, so it's March 30th.
I should make a
Just
commercial of Rite Aid for the rightest of the AIDS.
Yes. Can't go wrong, because, you know.
With this AIDS, you get Band-Aids.
Right. Oh, there you go. Nice.
I have no idea.
Enroll AIDS.
There you go. Yeah, that was.
I actually had an idea for a store once, but my store was called Wang, and it sold all non-sexual things that were phallic-shaped.
Nice.
Like,
right on.
that was just the whole point of it. Was a total novelty store, nothing
Nice.
dirty, but everything
Wang and
wiener-shaped.
Yeah.
Gotta go to Wang and Dongs and get some
Carrots.
Yeah, some carrots. Right.
Candles. Just anything that
That was
shape.
phallic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway, I
I
thought that'd
bet
be
you
hilarious.
it would take off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If if you needed 3 or 4 different things that were all
I'm running low on
phallic
cucumbers. I
Yeah.
need to go get
Yeah,
some zucchini.
right. Yeah, the produce section would be, you know. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
So where we at?
Huh.
Other
I
than
don't
being in
know.
Kenmore, what's the name of this
Kenmore.
place?
Espresso something.
It's right by the town center.
I feel this used to be a taco time, and they just moved across the street.
Did they?
It's-
Maybe.
it's one of those
It does
sets-
have a
yeah,
building
yeah.
shape that
Maybe it was
suggests
Burger King.
fast food.
Yep.
It does have a drive.
Did anyone notice what the name of this place is?
Espresso Works.
Oh, okay.
Espresso Works.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm
No.
only half
We'll
awake.
check the tape.
I can't figure out why I'm tired today. Yesterday, I did just like normal stuff. Like, it was actually kind of a lazy
Maybe
day.
you have a tapeworm.
Maybe I do. That's a really good point. I've had horrible diarrhea, so
Oh,
See?
yeah, I didn't
That's how they get you.
They swim upstream.
Yeah, right. Or that mudslide. Speaking of mudslides, right?
Ooh, yeah. Oh man, I think that's too soon.
Okay.
Too soon.
Too soon for that joke? Okay, sorry.
Okay.
No, I'm just really tired this morning. But last night I went to the Seattle Men's Chorus Totally Wicked concert,
Oh.
which I thought and billed to my friends
Yeah.
that because I'm in the women's chorus, I get all of the emails for men's chorus because it's the same company. And so I've heard so much about this concert. I was under the impression they were singing through the score of Wicked from beginning to end. Because last
The
spring,
title
What's
kind of
Wicked?
suggests
Is
Yeah.
that like a play or something?
it's
Yeah.
a musical.
Yeah.
It's the musical off the book Wicked, sort of. That's the story of the Wicked Witch of the West.
Oh.
So she's the main character. And it's like her growing up, and
Interesting.
she meets
So like
Glinda.
what they're doing with Sleeping Beauty right now, sort of?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Totally. Anyway, I was under the impression they were just singing through it because I went to Hairspray in concert, and that's what they did, beginning to end, and I loved it. So, like, I invited our sister, because her kids are really into musicals, and her husband loves musicals,
Yeah.
and, like, they still enjoyed it, I think, when I got there, and it was totally not bad. There were, like,
It
4...
wasn't totally wicked?
It
then?
was not totally wicked.
Oh,
It was
man,
semi-wicked.
that's false advertising.
It is. It had like 5 songs from Wicked, which, to be fair, is more than half of the like. Which I was thinking, like, that's going to be kind of a short concert because there's not. I mean, there are a lot of songs, but it's not like an Andrew Lloyd
Right.
Webber where it's like all music. It has
Okay.
like maybe 12 songs total.
Okay.
But it was like, turns out the guy who wrote it, it was a show of all of his stuff, and he wrote the music for Godspell and Pocahontas, the Disney musical,
Okay, so
and Prince of Egypt,
and then his songs
and
from
All the
Wicked.
sellout.
his
Okay.
and Wicked. Oh, it was all stuff, and like he did a lot of biblical stuff, which was really interesting. Like he did one about like Adam
Did
and
you do
Eve.
Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat?
No, that was
That's quite biblical.
that's got to be like Rodgers and Hammerstein or something like that, or Gilbert and Sullivan. That's
Okay.
something like that.
Huh.
That's way older.
I
He
see.
did stuff through like I think Godspell's his first hit,
Okay.
and then because everything else was more recent.
Okay.
But all really good music. But it was interesting because there was a lot of biblical stuff.
Did he do Noah?
Yes.
I'm just
no. Oh, and he did Enchanted. So they did, which that part was really funny because they had a guy in drag in this gigantic ball gown, and like throughout the show, like they would finish this big choral piece, and then you'd see him like pop out and he'd just go, ah! And then like these other guys in like black jumpsuits with sticks with like cardboard birds on it would like run along behind her, and she'd just like swirl and like
kind of a Cirque du Soleil edge sort of thing,
only just like goofy.
Oh, okay.
Like it was really funny, and she had like this ridiculous red wig on, and she would sing some of the songs, but like most of it was just her popping out and doing the like and like twirling around, and it was so funny to me.
It sounds fun, actually.
Anyway, it was they do really good. Yeah. Well, and that was the thing is I told everyone what we were going to, and then we're all sitting there, and like my friend Lynn is like, "This is not all Wicked songs," and I was like, "How?" She's like, "Aren't you in this chorus?" I was like, "Yes." Like the women chorus sang two of the songs. I had no clue.
I don't really listen to what they say.
You think should they have called it Wicked Retarded?
Then that's a really good idea.
Like
oh my gosh.
I love
well, and it was called Totally Wicked, the songs of Stephen Schwartz. But he wrote all of the songs of Wicked, so I thought it was like Stephen Schwartz's Wicked.
Why would you need to even look further into that?
Exactly.
It's
Totally Wicked.
Just the title suggests that's what it would be.
It is no. But it was really good, and like Megan Hilty, who's a Seattle native Broadway star, who she if anybody's seen the show Smash, she's the blonde in Smash. Like, there's two lead women. One of them is the one from American Idol, and one is Megan Hilty, who, after Kristen Chenoweth left Wicked on Broadway, she took over the Glinda role and did it for like 5 years. And she sang probably 6 songs, and it was like ridiculous. Like she's like a star. Like she just on the mic like it was so good.
Yeah.
And the men's chorus soloists, which I think because it was a totally musical theater show, that's kind of their jam. The soloists were amazing. And they had dancers, and like it was really, really good.
Where was this at?
It was at McCaw Hall in Seattle Center.
That's a good venue.
Gorgeous. And we were in the second balcony, and I felt like the stage was so close. It was like, it's probably one of the better, because like at Benaroya, if you're in the second balcony, it feels like you are a mile from the stage. But like we're definitely high. I kind of like that for shows like that, because you can see everything. But it felt like we were close enough to the stage that I could see expressions on people's faces.
I was there one time to see Australian Pink Floyd, the Aussie Floyd. It was, but they were really good.
It's a cover band.
Yeah.
Tribute band.
Tribute band. Yeah, and they're actually, but who's that guy? Roger Waters. Is that his name? Roger Waters. He's the one. Yeah, he actually endorses and actually toured with this band.
Oh, cool, dude. If you watch some of Roger Waters, I'm thinking about Gilmore. Never mind. Yeah, Roger Waters is the other dude. Okay.
Yeah, he's the
Gilmore though. His guitar solos or his sort of guitar career after Pink Floyd, he does some amazing stuff.
That's cool. I like Pink Floyd.
Yeah. It's cool. Even though they don't tour anymore, if you can catch the Aussie Pink Floyd, it's like
totally worth it.
Yeah,
That's
it's really
cool.
good. And there's some things that they change, like instead of a big pink pig that they blow up on stage, it's a pink kangaroo.
Oh, that's cute. So it's a little tongue in cheek.
The prism, like they show the light through and it breaks up. It's actually a prism of Australia.
Oh, nice.
So the light shines through and breaks up. It's really
cool.
good, and and they play all the good hits. You know?
Do they change the music at all, or is it pretty strict?
It sounds exactly like a Pink Floyd band and everything.
Nice.
What's the one where the lady, she's screaming, the orgasmic one where she's
that's
something
from Dark Side of the Moon. Something in the big sound in the sky or something.
Sound in the sky or something. They have a whole. It's amazing. It's just a really good show.
That would be really fun. I like big I don't know if you'd call them glam rock, because I wouldn't classify Pink Floyd as glam rock, but shows that are
rock.
But like shows that are high production value rock.
Yeah.
Like Iron Maiden does it, where it's like a spectacle. You know?
There's a visual.
I love that kind of stuff.
It's not just dudes in white T-shirts and torn up jeans up there
jamming, but it's like almost like an operatic thing. In that it's like.
Well, that's what Kiss was. That was their whole shtick was.
Totally.
Let's just put on a big show for people.
Huge animatronics on the
music was sort of like the afterthought. You know, they're singing. Okay, cool. You know,
totally.
Kind of thing,
I seen Ronnie James Dio in 1984 that way. They had a giant dragon on stage, and it was more like, wow, there's a dragon.
That always makes me think of Spinal Tap, where they're designing Stonehenge, and then they come out and he's like, they're like the tiny Stonehenges. He's like, I don't want the audience afraid that the dwarves are going to crush the stage. They've got the little dwarf guys and the tiny little Stonehenges. Oh, that movie is so good.
It's timeless too.
Oh, I have to revisit. I own it.
So good.
So
we should totally watch it. Anyway, but the concert was great. I got like misty eyed because they did like this whole, the It Gets Better campaign, which is Dan Savage started it, and he had some of his celebrity friends after there were a couple of suicides of gay kids in the media. He put out a YouTube video series that was just gay adults talking to gay kids about what it's like to grow up. And like the message was, it sucks when you're a kid, but it actually gets better. And when you're an adult, this is what your life might be like. And hang in there. So it
gives them something they can relate to, and something they can look forward to.
Totally. And like Neil Patrick Harris did it, and then eventually like it became really popular. So even like President Obama did one, and like all these people that were like, it's okay to be who you are, like just grow up, get out of high school, like you might be in this crappy town that everyone hates you,
get to
but
work
the
so
world will not hate you. Yeah, exactly. But like, so anyway, he wrote a song that was about that. Oh my gosh, it totally like killed me because they had this youth choir. They had this. It's called Diverse Harmony, and it's a youth choir of like gay and straight kids. And they sang the parts of the kids who were like the beginning of the song is all these kids talking about like how they feel about themselves and how they worry about are their families going to reject them? Like, what is life going to be like? And then it just got me emotional. Then the choir, like they turn around and the choir sings to them about like how, like when you get through that, you find people who respect you and you learn to love yourself, and like it was so good, and it was like one of their last songs, and then I'm just like crying in the audience, and like my niece on one side had already fallen asleep, and my nephew on the other side was just like, this sucks so bad, and I'm like, it's so beautiful. It was really funny. I was like, whatever, I'm a dork. But it was really, really good. So anyway, Men's Course is great. Like, some of their shows are, like, I love choral music, so I like them, but some of their shows, like their Christmas concert, man, they do, like, half that Christmas concert is usually, like, Mendelssohn or, like, who's the guy who does the Messiah? Like songs from the Messiah. Like, it's hardcore classical choral music. And so if you're into that, it's good. And, the concerts are always great, but sometimes you have to dig through some, like, really intense choral stuff.
Yeah.
And so for the general public, I go, well, maybe not. But like this show, I think anybody could watch it and really enjoy it. Okay. Because you find that you know half the songs.
Despite the name.
Right. Don't go if you want to hear
if you want
songs from Wicked. No.
Then
this is not the show for you.
It's totally Wicked.
I know, but they did some stuff like they had God descending from the sky at one part, and it was like this really funny like disco ball cape, like robe, and like a really comical beard, which I thought was really funny. And then they had like at the end when they did some of the songs from Wicked, they had someone dressed as the Wicked Witch who rose up from the back, and like they had curtains that looked like her dress was taking up the entire stage, and it was like really cool.
That's cool.
It gave me chills. I was like, who is that? And the person playing it looked like dead on like the lady from the old 1949.
Oh, the 1930s. What's her name?
Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah.
Man, she looked cool. Like whoever they had, I don't even know who they had doing it, but like it looked awesome. Like whoever that was.
Did they do a story about the Wicked Witch of the East as well?
If you read the book,
yeah.
The Wicked Witch of the East is the Wicked Witch's of the West sister, and she's born without arms.
Oh, weird.
It's this really interesting story. No. See, so the book takes...
Well, I guess all you see is her feet, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the book takes the Wicked Witch of the West story and like goes from her birth, and it's Gregory Maguire who does... He has a whole series of books where he does like Scrooge, and he does Sleeping Beauty, and he does Cinderella, and he takes them out of context and scrambles with the story in a really interesting way. I love them. They're actually my favorite. There's 4 books of the Oz series, and the first one is the Wicked Witch of the West, and the second one is her son, and then there's the Cowardly Lion, and then I forget what the last one is because I actually haven't read it yet, even though I bought the book. I'm kind of waiting to get in the mood. But it's really interesting storytelling, and actually the books are rated R. Like, they're dirty and scary and weird, and like there's sex clubs where people have sex with the animals. Ooh. And it's really, really crazy.
That's not rated R. That's NC-17.
But like the musical is loosely based on the book in that it's
They have sex with animals?
Yes. It's 100%.
It's the Oedipal version.
Well, that's why it's wicked, I guess.
Exactly. No, they take parts of the story and the characters, and then they make it for kids.
Okay.
But I love the books.
So they just take out the bestiality.
Exactly.
Good deal, right?
No, well, one thing that they do, which is my critique, the books, the messages, the theme of all of the books is that thing that is pretty and shiny and telling you what makes you feel good may not be the best thing. And so people like Glinda's a politician in the book.
Okay.
She makes everyone feel good, and so they don't notice that they're being enslaved by the wizard. And Elphaba, who's the Wicked Witch, she tells people what's really happening, and everyone ostracizes her because she's telling people things they don't want to hear. And so the whole message is maybe that person who has been labeled wicked
isn't so wicked,
and maybe this person who's good and sweet and beautiful is really just lulling you. And so the whole books are about kind of corruption, and it has this really cool message. But the message of the musical is that like they learn to appreciate each other, and Glinda is obnoxious at first but really ends up being kind of fine, and there's kind of no bad guy, and like it ends up being more about how cute Glinda is.
It's how they play sports these days. Everybody's a winner.
Yeah, it's kind of just like like it's a good musical, but they lose all of the depth of the book in my opinion. And the ending, they do something weird with the ending, and it's stupid. I just stamped it stupid because there's an ending in the book that's interesting, and for no reason they just made it different in the musical. But it's not better. I think it actually makes less sense. And I'm like, you already had an ending. You could have just used that one. Right. And so I can't figure out why they changed it. And like when I saw the musical,
I think it's their people's ego. They're like, I want it to be this way just because I can.
Maybe, but the guy who wrote the book also wrote the musical.
Oh,
like he wrote the book for the musical, and then
that's
Stephen
a little
Schwartz
more legit. I mean,
if it's given to somebody else and they change it.
For instance, like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Douglas Adams actually had a part in the script. I thought it was way miscast myself, but
there were certain parts I liked it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, not quite miscast. I guess I just didn't really agree with the Ford Prefect character, and that was. I mean, I'm all about Ford Prefect.
Which one is he?
He's the black one.
What's his name?
The Hitchhiker. He was the one that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I read that book so long ago that like I can hardly.
Well, but my point was he had actually a hand in the. I don't know if he actually wrote it, but he okayed at least the script for the movie. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was back when Zooey Deschanel was blonde and didn't realize she was the hipster goddess that she is now.
Oh.
Like, she was a blonde in Elf, too.
Oh,
and then someone gave her a makeover, and she became the giant star that she is now. Yeah.
Well, didn't she become an Yes Man? I think that was like the first movie I thought I saw.
She had done a couple of indies before that.
Oh, okay.
It was really 500 Days of Summer, where I was like, oh, she is now the hipster goddess of the universe. And she had, the bangs.
So is it just about a matter of time before she comes out then? Is that pretty much? Okay. Like,
I love her show. Do you guys watch her show?
The New Girl?
The New Girl?
I've seen
It's
it.
actually just called New Girl.
Is it one of those where you could just could we pop in the second season and watch one episode?
But you want to watch all of it because it's really it builds in a really funny way.
Because that's how we've.
And they do a lot of callback jokes. That if you jump in, you may. I would imagine.
So it's a little more like Friends, a little less like Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory, yeah, totally. Because Big Bang Theory, you can shuffle that.
Oh yeah, that's how we. Yeah, that's how we watched it.
Totally.
Okay, they're pretty.
And Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I gotta say, gets better and better and better. I know neither. Have you started? Oh, okay.
I watched it when it first came out. When we still had cable, I watched it.
Totally. The last couple episodes have been so like where I want to slow it down. Like I'm like, no, this is so funny and it's gonna be over soon, and I want to like.
You want it to last. Savor it.
Because they're like the last couple episodes have been so good. They have this one where Boyle is getting married. He's like the really big nerd cop, and then Andy Samberg is his best man, and he gives him this book that's like a Danish or Swedish or something book, like manual for best men, and it's called like Fair, or it's like called like oh my gosh, I wish I could think of it's like it means like it sounds like gay bridegroom, and that's like the Danish word for it's like fairy breed groom. And he keeps calling him the fairy breed groom like throughout the whole thing, and it was so. And he does all these like bizarre things because he's like, in chapter 6 it says that I have to like kill a fish and put it on your doorstep 3 days before. It's like all this weird
because
stuff.
of that guy. He's from his.
Because he's weird, dude.
Oh, okay.
Like everything he does is strange.
Okay.
Anyway, he's one of my favorite characters, the Boyle character.
I like the big buff guy.
Yeah, Terry Crews.
Yeah, Terry Crews.
He's actually why I started watching it, because like Andy Samberg is totally hit and miss for me.
Yeah.
Like when he's good, he's amazing, but when he's bad, it's really bad. But then I saw Terry Crews was in it, and I was like, I love Terry Crews.
Yeah,
he's like muscly.
Totally.
Okay.
He's trying to get back out. He's trying to get out from behind the desk and get back in the field, but he's afraid.
I like that you can tell he doesn't take himself too serious, but he does, but to be funny about it, sort of thing. So.
Well, and it's like he's the best part of Everybody Hates Chris.
Right.
Oh yeah,
he's so funny in that.
The father,
and like he was doing action movies all while they were shooting that sitcom,
Wow.
and like he did. Have you guys ever seen White Chicks? It's a Wayans Brothers movie.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
That movie is horseshit, except that he's so funny in it.
Oh yeah,
like that character of the guy who's irrationally into large white women is.
Nice. Oh, right on.
So funny.
Irrationally into.
Like creepily, aggressively into, like Damon Wayans as a white woman. It's really funny to me. Anyway, I'm a fan, clearly.
Cool.
And he's a person who doesn't age. Like, I don't know how old he is. He could be 25 or 60.
No
clue.
He's got to be at least over mid-30s.
But if he was new, if he just was a new
40s.
thing, I would say 35.
Yeah.
But he's got to be 50 or 60. I don't know.
Physique-wise, he's pretty,
Oh, totally. But even in the face, that's a cute dog. Sorry, now I'm the person getting distracted.
Shiny.
There's a tiny little bulldog walking by like a Frenchie.
Kanina and I, we just got back from last week. We were up in Victoria.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was nice. And it was one of the first trips that we've taken without doing everything touristy, like getting on the Blue Shark Garden tour and going to, it's not there anymore, but they had this thing called Under the Sea Garden. So it's like you walk down this ramp into a sunken boat. Basically, it's not a sunken boat. And it's
just like underwater and it's a garden? Can you see the water?
Yeah. Well, it's just a big fish tank.
Okay.
It's just there's just sea life.
So you don't get wet or anything.
No. It's
but the garden part of it is the stuff you're looking at underwater.
Yeah, the anemones and the kelp but it's not actually what's in the water around you.
It's staged.
Yeah, it's just a fish tank. They got fish tanks, and then they make it look like they put a diver in there and he's swimming around, and they make it seem like there's a shark coming. It's just like, it's totally
goofy.
Yeah,
you can see through the facade.
Yeah,
you're like, wait a minute, this isn't real.
Yeah. We are underwater. I mean, it would be in trouble if it sprang lake. It would
totally.
It's really cramped. It's really
if you want to see something like that's cool, I recommend the shark the shark aquarium at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Because it's all tubes through a giant shark thing.
Yeah.
And you're just like looking above you, and it's all sharks.
It's on a conveyor belt, yeah?
Sharks.
No,
you
walk it. Them to Vegas.
We did so many other things.
Yeah.
I feel like
I guess we had to do the car show.
there were a lot of stuff you guys wanted to do. I went with Dad once though, and we got the audio tour, and like it's all predatory animals, and
that's in Mandalay Bay.
Interesting, yeah.
Just in Mandalay Bay.
The Shark Reef, that's what it's called. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They have signs there and stuff. It's only like $15, which for Vegas is cheap. And it's a solid, cool aquarium.
Because they had the wax museum, Madam.
Oh man, Tucsods.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that is the biggest rip.
Yeah, it was like $40 a piece to get in there, and I was like, it's just statues of people.
I have the internet.
If somebody turned it up if somebody turned the heat up in that place, it'd
be screwed.
Yeah.
The car museum was pretty cool.
That was really cool.
They had some really neat cars in there.
It is in the most like ghetto weird place. It's like
it's like at the other end of the strip.
Yeah, the fourth floor of like the. It starts with a B. What is it?
I don't know.
No, it's Imperial Palace.
Yeah, it's like in the center of the strip.
And it's just like a warehouse of really cool cars.
Yeah, there's some neat cars.
Really old. Like everything was super old. They had one section that was like 80s cars, right?
I think cool, like, it was sort of like a real sort of randomness that they put the cars together with. I mean, you'd see like an 80s car next to like a 50s car,
and then like a Model T.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about it was they roped off all the areas, so you couldn't really get a good picture of any of the cars.
So so you're ways back from them? Or?
Well, I mean, a couple of feet. I mean, you couldn't get like a complete picture without some rope being in there.
Okay.
Totally. And they had these huge, it was like a big warehouse space, and so you have like rows of cars. So like there's lots of like stuff in the background. And
I'm not real car aficionado, so I don't know what to tell you as far as what
I know.
Alex was in hog heaven.
Yeah, well, they had one of her favorite cars.
What's her favorite car?
The Mercedes Gullwing.
Okay. From the 60s?
Where the doors flip up on the sides like wings.
Really cool.
She likes the silver. They had a red one.
Yeah.
300 something Gullwing. I think it's a
65 SL300.
So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, one of those. But that's her favorite.
But I think even as a non-car person, like I was kind of like, yeah, I'll go with you guys. All right, what about this?
Yeah.
Totally enjoyed it, 100%. Yeah. Like it was enough, like a lot of cars and cool stuff and like weird things and kind of like some novelty stuff that was like, oh wow, this car's from like 1899.
Yeah.
Like that's weird.
Yeah, you'd be surprised that some of the first cars were actually electric too.
There was. Did you see the documentary Who Killed the Electric Car?
I have, but it was a really long time ago.
Well, basically there was this big sort of battle between electric and gas powered, and the gas powered won out because because you could make more money off of it basically.
Because they broke down and there was oil and stuff involved.
Well, I think if it had kept pace with each other, we'd have electric cars would be way better than gas powered.
Yeah, that's
I'm hoping in the next few years they get. I mean, they're cool now. Like our brother-in-law has one, and I think they're really cool now. But I'm hoping in the next couple of years we'll get some like really good.
Keegan and I we've been watching the Back to the Future series.
Oh, nice.
And one of the things is 2015, where they go in the future. We're supposed to have hovering cars, and one of the things that
I think it's 55.
No, 15. 2015.
Yeah, because people have been hoaxing it.
2055.
No, they went to 1955.
Right, but then I thought it was 2055.
1885. And then they
1985, right? Because
it started out in 1985.
Present.
Went to 55, went to 15, then back to 85.
Because when they jumped to the future, they were just in their 40s and had teenage kids.
They were in the 30s. It was only 30 years ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because people have been hoaxing it on the internet for the last like 3 or 4 years, where they changed the date, but 2015
I always
is the
thought
actual.
It was 2055. I guess that does make sense that they would be a lot older then, because I mean, in 2055 we would be like in our 90s, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
So there is one thing that I noticed that they might have is that's the Mr. Fusion, because they have they have the fuel cells that takes water and turns it into electricity. So that's about the only thing I think that's really close.
The thing that I've found with technology is I think we would be way further ahead in what technologically we would be capable of, like the flying cars and the whatever, and maybe even the $50 Pepsi too. But if we had a true free open market, I think that the coercion between government and commerce makes it so that they milk every last little penny out of every last little technological step that they take.
They intentionally buy up patents and just
shelve for sure. Yeah. Well, and case in point, it's like the color printer cartridges. I mean, why are those? I mean, it's not even. I mean, it's like a dye that they put in the things. I mean, so it's all sort of proprietary and.
Well, there's like they'll say like I'm trying to remember. I read a thing I'm talking like 95 that was talking about Game Boys.
Yeah.
And like whoever the Nintendo spokesperson at the time was saying, like, we have the technology to do like all of this stuff with like handheld gaming, but it would be so expensive that nobody would buy it, and so we don't do it. And then like as things got cheaper to manufacture, like those things came out, but like a lot of the technology of even just like something like a video game they had at one point, but they were like, it's really not profitable for us to do this thing.
Well, I don't think it's not profitable because they can still make money off of what's existing now.
Right, yeah.
Is why things don't move ahead, and because there's so limited access to all markets usually, so there's not adequate competition to jump in there and get the jump on the next big thing.
Because the people who are making the stuff, they also want to replace the money they spent on R&D. That's why they own and like.
They want to make their millions. They make up R&D in months. It's not.
I remember my grandparents got their first microwave, and it was a digital.
They called them radar ovens, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what I remember my grandma calling it.
Have you guys seen American Hustle? Oh, you guys have to see it. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
They have this whole running gag that like the Christian Bale character gets his wife a microwave, and she keeps calling it the science oven. And there's this really funny scene where he's like yelling at her, and they're arguing about like, she's like, "What is this science oven?" And he's like, "It's a microwave." And like, it's so funny. And it's one of those old like gigantic
and
microwaves.
with those small doors.
Yeah, totally.
Really tiny small door.
Yeah.
Well, and they were expensive. They were like $2,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then now they're $100.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's like you watch as the patents wear out and it basically become.
Then the competition opens up, and then
licensing people can start buying licensing for cheaper. It's it's a money game.
Yeah, we definitely have a system that slows things down.
Right. I think the next technological thing they're going to push with cars, though, not flying cars, because I don't think we'll ever have flying cars because they don't want us to control the airspace at all. Anyway,
I don't think we'll have flying cars because I think it's like the video phone where people were looking into the future and they're like, oh, that is where it's at, but nobody really wants a video phone, and I think people would like the idea of a flying car, but if you actually had a flying car, I don't think the cost benefit ratio would
we have
I know,
FaceTime,
but nobody uses it.
Yeah. What you're going to see next,
what I'm
though,
saying
with
is
the
people
automobile
wouldn't really need it.
industry, is what I was trying to get at, was that it's going to be automatic driving cars.
Oh yeah,
they're going to get into the you just sit in your car.
They're doing a ton of.
But that's what I mean. That's what
that,
the next. There's not going to be. I don't think electric, or gas is going to go away. There's no way they're going to let that happen.
Well,
but
they still
automatically
haven't.
driving cars is going to be the next thing.
Well, the reason I think also that gas isn't going to go away is they still haven't taken gas out of the equation. They've just changed the way you get gas from plugging it into an electric socket to, so gas is still in that chain.
Yeah,
right.
But
we also give gas companies money just in subsidies.
Yeah,
our tax money goes to gas companies.
I know. I just watched a documentary called The Big Fix, which is another one. I decided after watching it that I need to I'm becoming like the most pessimistic person from watching all these documentaries.
Yeah,
but it's about they totally can, and it's no new information, but they just present it in a way where you're sitting there going like, I want to burn BP down, because it's about the BP oil spills over the years and the fucked up stuff they've done with the government.
Effed up stuff going on with Exxon Valdez. They still haven't figured that out, and no one's gotten a dime. from that.
No, totally. And the whole subtext of that documentary, The Big Fix, which is on Netflix right now, is the dispersants and the damage to humans dispersants do. And it's the thing that they spray into the water, which makes
congeals the oil to get it.
Except what it actually does, which I thought it congealed the oil and then they scoop it up. It doesn't. It binds to the oil and the oil becomes micro droplets and then plants and animals and stuff ingest it and then it breaks down your cells. And they had all these people who'd been exposed to it, and it they have permanent
it creates cancer and stuff.
Cardiovascular, respiratory, and skin problems because of it. And it was and the whole thing of they found this out back in the Exxon Valdez, and all these lawsuits went up, and then the government allowed BP to use it in the Gulf of Mexico, and everyone in the Gulf is like, do not do that to us, and they were like, okay, we won't. And then there's videotape of them doing it at night.
They cleaned it all up, it's all good now,
I know,
right? And that's what the media says.
Yeah, totally. Well, that was another big theme of it, was what was presented in the media versus what was actually going on.
Because you talk to people and you bring it up, they're like, oh no, they fixed that. It's all good now.
Oh, it's totally. President Obama went there.
Yeah.
But then they have a subterranean lake of oil where all of the oil has sunk and is sitting in destroying the ecosystem from the bottom of the Gulf of Mexico. It's seriously
then
I
the
was
bees disappear, then we're all screwed.
I know. I was like, we really need to I don't know. I don't even know what you do. I was just like,
where do you start?
It was so depressing and sad, and the ecosystem is so fucked. And they talked to all these shrimpers,
and it's not
they
really,
were like,
I don't think the Earth really gives a crap. I think it was George Carlin bit he had about the Earth will shake us off like a wet towel or
totally.
It was like the Earth doesn't care. Exactly. Yeah, we're screwing ourselves.
Yeah,
everybody's like, oh, save the planet.
No.
Planet doesn't give a hoot about us.
I know.
I mean, we're not hurting
the fragile
the planet.
ones.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's think about ourselves a little bit.
Totally.
Yeah, the planet's thinking, so it's going to get warmer.
Oh, and I guess other animals you got to consider too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
but we're dependent on other animals. And
sure. Yeah.
If we screw them, we screw ourselves.
One.
It's a circle of life. It was really upsetting. So that's another one. Watch Dirty Wars, and then you'll hate the government, and then watch Big Fix, and then you'll also hate the government because they're smiling and being a villain, to put it in a Shakespearean sense.
Oh yeah, they're twirling their mustaches.
It's like, everything is great, and then people are getting cellular degenerative problems.
So speaking of hating the government,
yes.
We actually we went to an Irish pub while we were in Victoria.
Was it any good?
It was amazing.
I think Irish pubs out here are BS.
It was amazing.
Good.
There was right next door to the one. It was called the Irish Inn, and we went to this place. It was called Gorrick's Head.
Okay.
I don't know what it is with Irish pubs that have to be named after a head, but it was called Gorrick's Head. And the sign on the door said, "We have lot of beer." And I was like, we're going in there.
Sold.
So, way to go. It was expensive. The beer was I had
was it good beer, though?
It was amazing beer.
Good.
It was really good beer.
Do they have any barley wine ales?
I bet you they do.
Oh, yeah.
They had probably close to 40 tap handles on the bar.
Crazy. Wow. I love that. See, in Chicago, that's every Irish pub. And when I first moved here, I was like, oh, there's an Irish pub in my neighborhood. And I walked in, and it's Coors Light on tap. And I was like, this is not an Irish pub. And then I went downtown and went to one it's supposedly an Irish pub. No, it's a sports bar with an Irish name. They're all BS in this town.
It has to really promote Guinness, for one, for it to be an Irish pub.
Yes.
They got to push that Guinness.
And they have to have at least two other stouts that aren't Guinness that you've never heard of, so that you can be like, okay, all right, I'm here.
Yeah,
this is okay.
We had, and I noticed when we were in Victoria.
And they have to have bangers and mash, because that's what you really need.
What is a bangers and mash? I know it's potatoes and
sausage and mashed potatoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I had battered fries, beer battered French fries.
Weird.
And
that sounds unnecessarily awesome.
It's Yeah, it was incredibly bad for me.
Yeah.
It sounds like beer battered French fries. Or
yeah.
Beer battered. You just take a corn dog stick and just keep spattering it and frying and then batter.
Put on layer after layer of fried batter.
Oh my gosh, that should be our new food truck.
There we go. Yeah.
We should open up a food truck and just
battered.
Beer batter.
Batter up.
Funny.
That'd be awesome. But yeah, it's another thing about Victoria. Everywhere has free Wi-Fi, even downtown, outside.
Nice.
It's just free Wi-fi.
It's
downtown.
a utopia, right?
Yeah. Other than they got the gray skies we have, but other than that, it was so nice. It's so friendly. Everybody's so. I don't know if it's because of a tourist town or what, but it was. Every time I go to Canada, I can always come back in a good mood. It's just like just smiling the whole time.
Cool. How long a drive is it?
Well, you have to take a boat, right?
Yeah, it's the Black Ball. Yeah, we took the Black Ball ferry. We got up from Port Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like 3-hour drive to Port Angeles from.
Yeah, because you'd have to go down and around then, or would could you get there from like Edmonds Ferry? Or,
yeah.
Okay.
You can go there you take over from you go from Edmonds to Port Townsend or Kingston.
Okay.
Something like that, and you just go up 101 and.
So how much total time from here to there?
From here, it would be on the road would be about 3.5 hours.
But I mean, including the ferry.
4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 90-minute ride.
So bad.
It's a 90-minute ride. $34 round trip per person, and you get across with your enhanced ID or passport. Mm-hmm. Easy. Excuse me, I'm burping.
Gross.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I've wanted to do that. I've resolved that this summer I'm going to take a weekend Washington trip of some kind, because last year I didn't do anything. Like, I took a lot of time off, but I just farted around here.
Yeah.
Just went to the zoo.
Literally.
There's so much. I know. I was just like fart. There's so much stuff around here that I haven't done. That I just did stuff in town. Okay. But I haven't been to Seaside since I was a kid, and stuff like that. I was like, I should go do
Seaside's really cool.
Or Lake Chelan. We went on a trip to Lake Chelan when we were kids, and that was awesome. And I was
Ocean Shores is pretty cool.
Yeah,
too.
Ocean
I've
Shores.
never been to Lake Chelan.
Oh, it was fun.
I've been to Open Source a lot.
Open Source.
It's my grandparents used to have property in Open Shores,
Oh, nice.
Ocean Shores, and
Shores.
we used to go out there and it was like our summer vacations. It was just windy and gritty.
Totally.
I learned to hate it, but I mean, it's if you go out there once in a while, it's okay.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's got water.
You can't drive the beaches anymore. You used to be able to drive up and down the beaches. Now you can't.
Weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this is probably 07 I think we went there, and we could drive up and down the beach.
There's certain either that or there's certain tides you can't drive because they block them off.
Huh. Yeah.
You can drive onto them and park, but you can't drive up and down them anymore.
Okay, well that's what we did.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I just want to do something like that because I don't know. I was like, oh, that sounds fun.
We'll fly a kite.
Yeah,
that
totally.
is really fun. That is. It's like
I don't even know why flying a kite is fun. It's one of those things. It's legitimately fun. But it's like when you're doing it, you're like, why is this fun? I'm just standing here staring into the sky. Yeah. It has no, you're not actually doing anything.
I think it's
but
the
it's
same.
fun.
Have you ever watched birds just kind of flutter in the wind where they don't? It's not like they're not moving or anything. They're just kind of riding the currents.
Yeah,
I think it's the same kind of idea.
It's kind of like a type of hypnosis too. You just
it is a little bit.
It's a little zen.
It's like watching the ocean. I could sit on a beach and just watch waves for 3 days straight and never get bored with it. Just staring out and oh, that was a cool wave.
Windsurfing's kind of like that though, because you're actually using the wind to get forward momentum going.
That's something I'd like to try. I'd really want to try.
There's a curve with it.
Yeah.
I'd say it's harder than learning how to ski for sure.
Okay, because I don't know how to ski.
Or snowboard.
Okay.
One of the two, whatever.
I'd like to do the kite one, where you do the.
That's even harder, from what I understand.
I've heard that too.
Just it's getting started, and once you're going, then you're going. But
it uses a lot of core strength, probably.
Well, you have to get everything all in alignment because, and if you have an unsteady wind, then you're not. I mean, it's best to have a steady wind. Then you know what you're up against.
Yeah.
Totally.
But I windsurfed in the gorge a couple times, and that's pretty fun.
What was your learning curve on it? How long did it take you to get a day?
Well,
I'm bad at stuff like that, and it would take me I probably went 12 times with Dad.
Yeah.
And the first time I could get got good enough where I could stand on the board holding the thing in a good wind and move forward, and then I would drop the sail and Dad would swim out and take it back.
Yeah, it depends on...
Because turning is hard, you know.
It's like snowboarding. If you go with someone that snowboards that knows how to do it and knows how to show you what to do, you could probably get going in a day.
Yeah.
But if you had to figure it out yourself...
Oh, man.
Yeah, you probably give up.
Totally. Yeah. Definitely take a lesson or like have a friend who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, because you really got to know how to get things started and what happens when you get like up on a, what do you call it, a plane, I guess.
Okay, when you get up on the plane.
Right. I've only gotten water started a couple times in my life, so you're going to want a big board that you can stand on and pull your sail up and then get all balanced and then go. Because water starting it's a shorter board.
Advanced.
It's really advanced. It's like you're in the water and you get the wind underneath your sail a little bit and you let the wind pull you up out of the water. Okay. That's hard as heck. I've only actually pulled it off a couple times.
Okay.
But the boards are a lot fun. Really you have a lot more. It's more of a surfing action than a sailing action when you get the smaller boards.
It's
they don't
fun.
Have a middle.
It's like, and even just watching really good people sailboard is cool to me. Like really fun.
There's this. I mean, they have like those skateboard sailboards too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen anybody tool around on those.
Aren't they called like land sailing or something like that?
I was watching a guy in a parking lot once kind of tool around with it, and they look pretty fun.
They're longer, really almost like really long boards, or
not really? No, this was, I don't know. Maybe they have them now that are long, but this was just a pretty standard skate. It looked like just kind of a makeshift skateboard and sail.
With a sail on it.
Yeah, but he was, and then that's the other thing too is. It's one thing to get going, and it's another to know how to sail and go where you need to go, like tacking and jibing and flipping your sail around and going the other way. Because there's a whole,
you can go upwind and downwind. Right. You just have to learn.
Yeah, to learn how to do what it is. There's like about 30 degrees of where you just can't go. You have to tack upwind. It's kind of upwind. You can't just go straight upwind.
Yeah.
You can go kind of at an angle and then cross your way up. Tacking and jibing is what they call it. I mean, it's just like sailing.
Yeah.
So if you know sailing, then you're halfway there. But
it's fun though. Like it's totally a legitimately fun thing.
It's a challenge. I'd say of the recreational sports, for sure, one of the hardest things you could do.
Yeah. But I think like people do like the paddle sail or the paddle surfing, where you're standing and you have the paddle. You're standing on a surfboard. Yeah. And like
that looks boring. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it totally does, and is really hard and can fuck your back up.
Yeah.
And
now
so kayaking is fun. I like kayaking. I think that's great fun.
We set out a few times to do it,
to kayak.
Yeah, to just go out in Lake Union or Lake Washington and rent a kayak.
Yeah, there's
places all over the place.
Like around Greenwood, Green Lake, or no?
She wouldn't go by herself, and they didn't have any tandem kayaks that we could rent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were all out. They were all out. So we ended up giving up. That was probably 15 years ago.
The tandem ones are more difficult than the singles. Like I think they're way more difficult to actually navigate.
Yeah. Whitewater rafting is another fun one though for this area.
Whitewater rafting is like
it's
we
insane.
went so many times in high school on like church trips, and I would always like it's a little too much for me because really? It's so much misery, and I would get so sunburned. And like there'd always be like one time like people just do stupid stuff. Like I was wearing like Tevas. And like this kid in the boat with me like dropped his oar and like couldn't get it, and I was trying to get it, and then like I put my foot outside of the raft and like hit a rock, and it just ripped my teva off. Like destroyed, like the thing was still around my ankle, and I was like, my shoe it was just gone, and I was like, this sucks.
Just like tattered remnants.
It was like 5 minutes of awesome and like 4.5 hours of misery.
Yeah.
That was every church whitewater rafting trip.
I mentioned that.
That's about the ratio with sledding too.
Yeah, true that. That is so true. Where you're just like 9/10 of the day you're just trudging up a horribly high hill, like dragging, or like having your ass kicked on the way down, where you're just like, this is not fun. It's like someone's just punching you in the sides.
Or you need a kidney belt.
I know.
So you need those big metal Red Rider blade runner things.
Where you ride it head first when you're not supposed to. I rode we went up and did a tour on the Nooksack River, which is probably
the Nutsack River.
The Nutsack. Yeah, we rode the Nutsack. Yeah, it was cool. We ended up my raft ended up going under a tree that was over.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the guide got fired that day.
Oh, great. Yeah. That's really helpful.
It was scary.
Yeah. Whitewater rafting is a tiny bit scary to me, but I think actually most of my misery was going on church trips where like you're riding in a crappy van with like a whole bunch of people and it's just like ugh. Like I think if it was just like
the
me
least organized thing ever.
Oh, totally. And all the boring parts of it take forever.
Yeah.
And then you're out there at like 1 o'clock and you're just being fried under the sun and it's like this sucks.
Yeah, I gotta say that was part of the day. It was like 3 hours of driving there and back, and then about 45 minutes of the river, and that was it.
Yeah, totally.
And like that's it. But you were spent. We were 45 minutes on the river was spent.
It's like, it's hard.
It depends on the river.
It's fun though. Yeah, but that's one of those things that's like, I think as an adult, if it was better organized, it would be fun.
Yeah,
you know?
We got to go with guys that just are just have just real clear intent. Just go get it done.
Totally.
So I've been skiing with all different types of people and on those little things, and if you get people that just poke around and do nothing, it's like
crazy.
I know, it's like going already.
I know. Like let's get to it.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, you guys got anything exciting coming up?
Hey, you know what? I was going to share with you. You were talking about pumpkins, how they're the funniest. They're the funniest.
Okay, here's
food.
why I brought up why. Okay, I posted on Facebook the other day that pumpkins are the funniest food. And it's because any joke with a pumpkin in it is a million times funnier to me.
Because of the phonetical
pumpkin. It's a funny word.
Yeah.
It's a weird looking object. And like it has no modern day function. Like you don't see pumpkins in modern life. And so it has this weird timelessness.
Right.
But Curl Show, I can't even remember. Oh, it was there's this character who's like the teen dad. And he's just like the biggest. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, I haven't seen the newer ones.
Oh, he's a tiny character in the earlier episodes, but now he has his own reality show where he's like learning how to be a dad, and he's this total like white trash kid, and he's got like all these lip rings that make him talk really crappy. He's like like he's got a tongue ring and a lip ring, and it's like he just has this really weird voice. But he was like learning how to take care of a baby, and he's like the doctor is talking to him. He's like, fatherhood is really important, and he's like, well, let's see if I can take care of this pumpkin. And he like holds him a pumpkin, and then he like immediately destroys the pumpkin, and it was so funny to me. And I was like, really, like anything with a pumpkin is hilarious. All pumpkin jokes are funny to me.
And you're right. They really don't. Other than people eat them in a pie, and they come out once a year for Halloween. There's really.
If you ever get married, I'm going to suggest that as a pet name to your other
pumpkin.
Pumpkin. Yeah.
It's a funny word too. Like it's just such a great.
It is a pet name. People do use that for
sure.
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin. Well,
anyway, that's
I was
the
going to
context
share with you
of this
the Thai name for pumpkin.
Oh, that's right. What is it?
It's fuck.
Is it fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, well, just another layer. It's like an onion.
It's to be fair. Canadian says you're wrong.
Fuck tong is actually the whole.
That's even better.
I don't know. I've been looking for that guy.
That's like a good insult. Like
somebody's really mad at Tom.
Yeah.
Isn't like every fourth word in Thai fuck though?
No. It's third. Every third word. It's 30. It's 60%, not 50%.
Fuck tong. That's even better than pumpkin.
There's a fuck tong curry. It's a really good curry.
That sounds delicious.
And it's the Thai pumpkin's kind of a green pumpkin too, isn't it? Yeah. It's like it's like a squash.
American pumpkin, a smashing pumpkin, if you will.
But yeah, when you were saying that, it's like I was like, I'm gonna tell you what, mate. I'm not gonna say what it is, but it rhymes with my most favorite F word there is.
Fontanelle was my guess.
Was it?
Yes.
What is that? What is
Fontanelle? The soft spot on top of a baby's head. I was just guessing that the Fontanelle was your favorite F word.
I didn't know
my favorite.
Fontanelle.
Anyway, I stand by pumpkin being funniest food.
Okay.
What is it? Is it a fruit?
Pretty funny.
Is it
pumpkin
a fruit?
is a fruit.
Is a fruit.
Technically speaking.
Because the seeds are
like
inside.
the tomato kind of
yes
thing. Okay.
Because it
Isn't
grows.
it gourd though?
Yeah, it is a gourd, but Gourds aren't a designation of a food group.
Oh, okay.
So it's a gourd, but it's a fruit.
Gotcha.
But I think gourds are fruits if they grow above ground. Because I looked it up because I almost put the funniest vegetable, and I was like, maybe pumpkin's not a vegetable, and I looked it up, fruit.
Yeah, well, you're right,
Like
seeds.
tomatoes are a fruit because they both grow on vines above ground and they have seeds inside.
Okay.
So
it's basically like all squash or like a fruit.
I guess some squash grow below ground, don't they? Oh no, tubers.
Tubers are.
Okay. So maybe they are all.
So
they
what's a
probably
peanut?
are. Peanut is a legume. It
Yeah.
grows on a tree, so I think it's probably a fruit.
Peanuts grows underground.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
You're
Like a
right.
potato.
I was thinking cashews grow on a tree and almonds.
That's weird. I'm allergic to almonds and not cashews.
I've looked into this a little bit because one time I think I was trying to figure out if you were allergic to something and I can't remember what it was, but I knew you were allergic to walnuts.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so
those are the worst.
There are groups of types
you just
of
get
nuts.
the itchiness or what?
Itchiness in my chest.
Like red face.
Yeah, that my chest starts really hurting.
So
I imagine swallowing an ice cube
Uh-huh.
is sort of what I liken
Done
it
it.
to.
Your esophagus just goes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it comes in waves, and then my mouth turns into like a faucet. It's like I generate so much spit that it's
Crazy.
like, yeah. It's like worse
And
than
I wonder
chewing.
if that's because you can't swallow it, or partially.
I
But
know,
I was
it just
Googling
sucks.
it to try to figure out if you're allergic to something, and I found that there are nut families that if you're
Okay.
allergic to walnuts, you're likely to be allergic to this cluster,
Right, like
but
almonds.
not this cluster.
Okay, yeah, because
they're
pistachios,
yeah,
love them. They're great.
What about
totally.
pecans? Or
Pecans will do it.
pecans?
Pecans
Yeah.
will do it.
Similar.
It's not as intense though.
Okay.
Almonds and walnuts are the worst. Walnuts I can almost just like touch them and be
Yeah.
We actually
Crazy.
encountered a lady who was, because we had a breakfast at the place we're staying, and it was family style breakfasting. So we sat with random people,
Cool.
and she actually had a nut allergy. She had to
Mhm.
get up, and she's to the
Pretty
point where if
common.
she eats too much of it, she has to do an EpiPen.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Do you have to do that?
No, it's never been that bad. I've always just kind of muscled through it.
You probably should,
Yeah.
because the EpiPen thing is a preventative.
I can
because
tell
you-
though. I bite
yeah.
into it, and my tongue gets
Yeah.
spiked or bitten, or it's like eating like.
It
have
sounds
ever
like you
eat-
probably should have that
Well,
around.
the thing is that one day you could have to go to the hospital because your body would have such a big reaction that you would stop breathing, and so it's a preventative thing usually.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure
I've
you'll
never
be
been
fine.
allergy tested though.
Yeah,
Is the other thing, which I don't want to do because needles. Hello, no.
they actually don't use needles anymore.
really?
Did I tell you I just recently had
They
this
just give
done?
you what you're allergic to. and
Yeah.
so
really?
whatever.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
But I
See what you
had
said.
allergy testing when I was a kid, and they did the needles. I had it when I was like a teenager, and they did this like it looked like a
Like mini, like a rake sort of thing.
where
Okay.
it's like a big, like the size of a small ice cube tray with a handle on it, and it's
Yeah.
like spiky things, and then they put
Okay.
the stuff on each one, and then they just jam it on your arm, so it like
Okay.
so it's basically needles, but it's just like painful.
It's just like a scratchy thing.
This
Yeah,
time,
okay.
all they did was they did on both of my arms. They wrote with a Sharpie on my arm what everything was, and then they put a little drop of oil,
Oh yeah.
and then they just took this little. It was like this, like
Ow!
this, like just this little piece of cardboard,
I
and
need a
just
Band-Aid.
just scratched, like
Oh,
just
huh.
it felt like someone just
Yeah.
doing a fingernail scratching your
Okay.
skin.
Huh.
And the lady was like, yeah, we found that, it doesn't need to be jammed subcutaneously. Like, all you need is just a little irritation of the skin. And my arms just blew up, like everything. I was like, I knew they would,
So
but
they wrote down allergic to life.
allergic to
Yeah.
all things.
Yeah.
Right.
But my
You're a
biggest were
bubble girl now.
grasses and cats, of course.
Oh,
And the molds were a little bit less, and then certain kinds of trees. And so I'm actually going to start doing allergy shots this summer because I think the biggest thing, and she was telling me about like seasons of blooming and stuff, and I think actually the biggest, because I had the hypothesis that the mold in Seattle was causing all of my sinus problems, and actually she was talking about the times of years that grasses pollinate, and I think it's grass. It's
Isn't
just
it
that
right
grass
about this
outside.
time of years when they start pollinating?
No, grasses are late
Late
summer
summer.
and when winter starts, and those are the times I get the worst allergy stuff. And spring is like, But like spring, I have some allergy stuff, but it's not nearly as bad as summer and fall. And she was like, yeah, those are the blooming seasons for grasses in this area. And so I'm going to get the shots because with those combination of like indoor, outdoor, and dust mites are the other really big thing. And I've known that for a long time. And I've tried to like, use HEPA filters and wash my bedding and stuff. But she said with that combination, like my sensitivity to dust mites and grasses and stuff, especially if I plan on staying here long term, because part of the problem is if you get allergy shots for the ecosystem in one area and then move, you might have to go through it again.
But have you tried buying local honey?
Have you heard of that? But I have heard of this. Okay. Actually, Christopher and I was watching, did I tell you guys this, the documentary about bees? I think we were talking about it. Yeah. And I was making a joke to my nephew who we're moving in together on Monday officially. We're going to be roommates. And I was like, ooh, we should get bees. And like it started out as a joke, but now we kind of are like,
that's actually a huge thing.
In a little bit, it would be cool to have bees because they do so many good things for the environment. And then we have local honey, and then like it's better for your allergies. And so we kind of have talked ourselves into wanting bees.
Would you be able to do that on your property?
I don't know. Maybe in a couple of years, but like if
you have room for it though, you need to have them.
You do need to have room.
You can't just sit up in the bathtub.
That's true. But we have a decent amount of room. But this is something of like at some point in my life I'm gonna have bees. But my joke was we were gonna train the bees to be attack bees so that they could protect our property, and then we could just like have a call and then the bees go.
A little bee whistle.
Totally. And so now every time we're talking about our house, we're like, what if we have crappy neighbors? Like, that's what the bees are for. Yeah. But anyway, we were talking about the local honey is supposed to be really good. Yeah. The problem is I'm off carbs, and so I don't eat honey at all anyway.
Yeah.
So.
But honey's really low on the glycemic scale too.
It's true.
But it's still carb.
It is. But it wouldn't hurt to have it around, and then if I had a day where I was eating, put it in some coffee or something, because it does do a lot of it. It actually is sort of nature's allergy. Allergy shots because it does like micro like sensitivity, like
it builds up your immunities to it.
What do they call it?
If I'm feeling sick, I'll just take honey and lime, or honey and lemon, and then.
Are you talking homeopathy?
Homeopathy, it's like nature's homeopathy.
It is, except it works.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
Homeopathy is so nonsense.
Pseudo
it's funny too because I have this really great therapist who I think is a genius, and then every once in a while she'll suggest something to me, and I'll be like, "Oh, I've never heard of that," and then she'll start talking about it, and I at some point discover that it's nonsense, and then I'm like, how do I continue this conversation without telling this person? She believes in all this like homeopathic. She's like, you have to put it under your tongue, and I was like, that's nonsense.
Yeah. Why under the tongue?
Because it's magic. It's hokum, and when you add
I believe
weird
it's
things,
in the same vein as like The Secret and things that it's like that mind. If you just believe, if only you believe.
Because if you put it under your tongue, you're focusing on it, and then it makes your placebo effect.
You also have more. Is it vascular?
Placebo? Is that what you said?
Placebo.
I missed
no, it's just it's homeopathy is just an exaggerated placebo. I mean, it's nothing.
Well, the quote unquote science of it is that you introduce your body to something kind of similar, so it has kind of the same reactions.
Yeah.
But
it's diluted to like the 100 millionth level, and so basically it's just water and sugar pills. And it doesn't have any validity at all. Like all
GNC,
tests done on it.
I only sold it to like a couple people.
Yeah, it's popular now though. Like people are into it, and I'm like, if you want to spend money on nonsense, you go right ahead.
Yeah.
But placebo works if you believe in it.
Yeah.
So.
It does.
For certain things.
Yeah.
It at least distracts you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yay! So I think I may have found a new religion. I think.
Is it?
What is it?
What's Rick's new religion?
Southern
Baptist.
Guess Rick's new religion.
No. Okay, I have no idea.
Only if you promise to change it once a week.
Ooh, yay.
Change it? Well,
what is
I guess
your
in
new
a way
religion?
it changes.
Is it Baha'i? Because I
well,
actually kind of dig Baha'i. If I was going to be religious, I would be Baha'i.
I mean, I guess I don't have faith. Let me still put it that way. But I'm kind of thinking that music could be something that would be a neat thing to worship, if you will. Okay, but here's my thought process. It's like I can hear music.
It's real.
It's real. It's something I can...
totally real.
You turn it up loud enough, you could feel it.
It elicits certain emotions. It elicits...
Oh, it totally does.
Hallucinogen. So,
it's
as
meditative.
a DJ, that okay, so I'm really trying to get around this whole copyright thing. It's like I should be able to put a mix of music together and put it out there, sell it, do whatever I want with it, because it's my collage of different things.
And can you not do that now?
Right? No, you can't.
Oh, okay.
You can't. I couldn't post it on. I couldn't put a mix together and post it on YouTube.
Oh, they'd yank it?
Well, it depends on if the quote-unquote owners of the music will let me or not. So if they say, no, I own that, you can't play it. And on most of the records that I own, they say not for public performance, not for recording, not for this, not for that.
Well, what if you just sampling like notes?
No, I'm not sampling. I'm not claiming that it's mine. I'm not claiming that this is my property. I'm perpetuating the...
To get around that, though, if you were to say sampled by and you put their name out there,
I'm not creating my own music though. I'm playing a track and then playing another track and then playing another track and having them and the art or the science of it or why it is its own creation to me is the context that it's put in.
Yeah.
It's like, here's the journey we're going on. No one's going to write an hour-long song.
There's a way to get around that as long as you review it.
Well, this is sort of my other way around, was if this is now my religion, you can't protect my speech or you can't protect what I quote-unquote worship.
So it's not actually just to get around the loophole.
Well, but look, if music is scripture, then there's not.
Maybe. I wonder though, because I've always argued that that gay people should just start a church that believes that gay marriage is the only true
Gays
marriage.
for Jesus. Have you heard that?
And so I don't get why they can't argue that religious protection for gay marriage.
Totally.
And I don't know why they haven't done that, but I think it's because the religious protection in our country is like, we say it's for everyone, but it's just for Christians.
Not, right? Yeah.
You know, really, the courts won't enforce religious protection for people.
I worship ice, so you can't.
I know, and we've seen that when they pass laws that saying you could murder Mormons, clearly.
There was a church or so some Native Americans would be able to smoke marijuana. Because
there was there was a guy.
Native Americans are like a protected. They've got their own set of rules. So, but I wonder, because theoretically you should be able to do that.
Yeah.
You say, hey, creating music mixing is my religion. Music is some kind of spiritual thing, and you are putting together your spiritual expression through a thing.
Wasn't how they get away with singing hymns and stuff in church because it's part of their...
I don't think any song should be copyrighted. Not even for what it's like. That came through you, but you don't own it. You know, I mean, music's for everybody, right? I mean, anyway.
I think that makes sense to me.
Well, no, I'm not saying that they won't be compensated. And actually, what I'm wanting to do with it is put the music or put my mixes out there for free. So it's not like you got to buy the mix.
Right.
But then I'm going to sell merchandise based on, instead of buying an album cover, buy a T-shirt, buy a mug, buy a whatever with that on it. And then that money will go to the artists.
I think you could probably set yourself up as a church. I don't think
get tax exempt status.
Get the 501c3.
I mean, if the Phelps can do it, you can do it.
Phelps is that's the God Hates Bags.
Yeah, that guy died.
The Westboro Baptist Church. He died, which I thought was funny. The best post I saw on Facebook about it was my friend Wim, who's like a pretty hardcore Jew, and he did the Jewish curse. He did the Jewish curse where it's like, may your name be blotted out. It's the one that they, in the Bible, it's the curse on the guy who, in the Esther story, the evil guy Haman, there was some kind of curse on him that he had done so much harm that he should be forgotten, and that upon his death he should have ceased to exist and no one should ever speak of him again. And it's like a really good curse. When I read it, I was like, that's cold. It's totally like, Like your existence did not, like, you've been wiped from memory.
But he still shows up in that story.
I know.
He's still in the credits at the end of the book. He says footnotes.
It's true. Except in Purim,
which is ironic because he's in the Bible, right?
Right.
It's like sorry.
I know, that's what we were saying.
Oh, okay.
But the Esther thing, they
Welcome
have those Purim parties, and everyone brings noisemakers, and the person at the front reads the story of Esther, and every time they say his name, everyone makes the noise so you can't hear the person reading his name, which I thought was really fun. And everyone gets dressed up, and you eat cookies and stuff. It's one of the funner Jewish festivals.
Bunch of haters is what it is.
Yeah, pretty much that's all. I think that's all it is. You just file for a status, and then you just create your own religious belief.
Cool.
Do it.
Yeah.
I'm in on that. I think it makes more sense than most things people worship.
Well,
you're going to be shunned as a cult first.
Yeah,
you're going to be a cult first.
And
then it's got to be around for a couple hundred years, then you're religion.
Then you're religion. Okay. Totally. Yeah, that's the joke.
So you have to start your own cult.
Okay.
But I think that actually most of the thing that people ascribe to spiritual feeling is music emotionality in churches.
Yeah, well, because anytime I've gone to church and felt spiritual, it's just an emotion.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I feel emotions all the time.
It's a thought and feeling. And for me, it's mostly related to music.
Yeah,
where it's like a beautiful piece of music.
Done a lot more for me emotionally than church.
I described this as being my church at one time. I think we were talking to a couple last weekend. I was like, "That's my church."
Totally.
If I was to
Sunday morning, we get together and talk about our thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, feel good about it.
This is totally church.
Yeah, church.
Well,
we should file for church status.
There you go.
We should.
Or is it
we need to get some followers.
I think it's
we gotta get butts in
We have like 12, I think, for sure. No, 50
12?
or someone.
Really?
We have enough to.
Yeah, I think we could be a small church. There's churches smaller than us.
We need a PayPal donate button somewhere, though.
Totally.
I think.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, we should probably wrap up. I gotta go get some stuff done this morning. I'm moving soon. Yeah, Rick has to go to bed because it's 9:40 a.m.
Job. I think we should.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. It's like I can't. After work week is done, there's not much time left to find something else.
Well, get that church thing off the ground, you'll be set for life.
Well, I think I might have to quit one of them to get another thing going, but
that sucks.
Can't do that till we're out of debt, I guess. So.
Totally. All right. Well, it has been lovely.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. Kids.
See you next time.
Children. Adults.
Until next time.
Yeah. As always.
Woo,
on the same bat channel, same bat time.
See you next week.
Bye.